Breaking news out of Oklahoma today. Yes, deep red Oklahoma, the state where Trump won every county, has enough people to resist shredding the U.S. Constitution. Also, some right-wing opportunist can start his Senate or governor's campaign while serving as state school superintendent. I'm going to detail what some of the school districts in Oklahoma are doing against the orders of Ryan Walters to put Bibles in classrooms and his latest to show a prayer video in every classroom in Oklahoma. But first, meet this naked opportunist, this culture warrior with obvious designs on higher political office, Ryan Walters. Watch this.
Before we had a federal Department of Education and we had the Bible and prayer in school, guess what? We were leading the free world. This was the greatest country in the world, and we have seen every statistic has gotten worse since the creation of the Federal Department of Education and the Supreme Court pulled the Bible and prayer out of school. Historical document, you can't rewrite history, okay? The reality is the Bible was what drove so many of the consequential events in American history. Why'd the Pilgrims come to America? Why in the world did Abraham Lincoln mention God and God's providence in so many of his speeches? How do you explain Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail where he goes through biblical examples if the left continues to censor the Bible from our history classes?
Notice the clever little right-wing tightrope act that he uses here. It's because of the history of the Bible in America. The toss-in of Martin Luther King Jr. was particularly galling. Like this guy is going to oversee that the history of the Bible in America was used to justify slavery, was used to justify the subsequent segregation and continued subjugation of African Americas, and most of all, the genocide of indigenous American tribes and tribal culture. All of those historical events were fueled by Christian misappropriation and misinterpretation of the Bible, and all of them are whitewashed across most of the American Bible Belt. We're supposed to believe that this right-wing culture warrior is going to restore the shameful role the Bible has played in American history to Oklahoma classrooms? I doubt it very much. And what kind of absolute simpleton actually believes that education in America went downhill because the Bible was removed from classrooms in the Bible Belt under the Federal Department of Education? So really, the superintendent of the entire statewide school system does not understand. Post hoc ergo propter hoc? Does he need Jeb Bartlett on the West Wing to explain it to him? Because it is included in every intro public speaking course in American universities, too. Did he not go to college? No, the purpose here is plain and simple and has nothing to do with Christianity, Christian social teaching, nor the Bible itself, either as text or as ideological motivation for some of the most shameful parts in the development of American culture and society. What it has to do with is promoting Ryan Walters as a national figure and a household name in Oklahoma so that he can run for political office in the future. This guy has absolutely no interest in educating the students in Oklahoma. And more than a couple of Oklahoma school districts know that and are opposing him. The Oklahoman is reporting today that at least 7 large Oklahoma school districts said Friday they have no intention of showing a video of State School Superintendent Ryan Walters discussing his state agency's new Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism, despite Walters saying doing so was required. They go on further to say, superintendents of the Edmond, Mustang, Moore, and Norman districts each sent a letter to parents and others saying they would not show the video. The Tulsa World reported the Owasso and Tulsa districts wouldn't share the video, and news website Oklahoma Voice quoted the Mid-Del School Superintendent Rick Cobb as saying his district would also forego showing the video. And the State Attorney General's office is backing the resisting school districts. The Oklahoman reported that a spokesperson from the AG's office said, "There is no statutory authority for the state school superintendent to require all students to watch a specific video. Not only is this edict unenforceable, it is contrary to parents' rights, local control, and individual free exercise rights." Legal translation: this guy is an idiotic culture warrior who is misusing his power and trampling over the rights of Oklahomans as spelled out by the state constitution. And the Oklahoman is reading right through the charlatan parading as a professional educator. In a manner of reporting missing from most national media, the Oklahoman went after this guy by writing, "The announcement and the video are the latest in a flurry of moves by Walters as he works to elevate his national profile. Republican President-elect Donald Trump is quickly filling out his incoming cabinet, and Walters' name has been mentioned by some national news outlets as a potential pick for education secretary or advisors." Both Trump and Walters have called for the U.S. Department of Education to be abolished. So Walters is in a can't-lose situation here. Most school districts are going to cower to him, and even if he isn't hired to dismantle the Department of Education, he's still made enough of a name of himself to win higher statewide office. But even if he does, what's more important is that people are resisting these ridiculous right-wing culture warriors and their obscene attempts to make a name for themselves by ripping up constitutional protections for religious minorities and by advancing a complete and utter perversion of Christianity. Here we have the reddest state in the country and one of the lowest educated states as well, and yet people are resisting loudly, defiantly, and effectively. This is our task for the next 4 years. Find resistance wherever it occurs. Talk about it, support it, and most of all, emulate it. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.